Thank you very much.
Wait, hold on. Body double? Body double?
So I've been waiting for this meeting for 20 years, actually.
Ooh.
And
Ever
it's
since
not that everything's
Baron was born.
100% understood or known, but I think we've made a lot of strides. Wish it was done a long time ago. Today, we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office, is it like 20 years ago, Bobby? It's probably 20 years ago in New York. I was a developer, as you probably heard, and I always had very strong feelings about autism and how it happened and where it came from. And he and I don't know, the word got out, and I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew. Thanks as well.
What the f is he saying? I don't really care about hitting this on the live. I just want to preempt this. We know this announcement is going to have something to do with Tylenol. The argument being, I guess, that Tylenol consumption for pregnant women increases the likelihood of autism development. I think this claim is minimally supported, but largely contested. They're announcing whatever they can, right? A lot of people have been really confused by like the direction of the administration on this. Keep in mind, and I am going to ramble, so just give me a second, okay? Like, Nazis are obsessed with this. Fascists are obsessed with this. Purifying the people, right? Identifying dysgenics, identifying illness, identifying social toxins, and eradicating them. And it's one of the reasons why, like, those Autism Speaks types, you know, moms giving their kids like bleach enemas or whatever to cure the autism. These people love Trump, okay? This kind of like wacko conspiracy nut, fake health advocate, you know, these people adore Trump because they're highly conspiratorial. They're usually not very intelligent. They're often relatively wealthy, but their wealth hasn't correlated to their education. You know, they feel frustrated. They feel like they have no outlet. They feel like they're under attack, and this is their like war against that corrosive force on their child. Conservatives often view this as like a broader theory. They view this broader theory in the context of a lot of things, like, for example, being trans. That's why they talk about being gay or being trans as a social contagion. It's really important for them. They don't want to believe humans can just be like this. They want to believe that it has to be some kind of like poison that can be extricated from humanity.
Well, to the director of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary. These are great people. Administrator of the Centers for Medicine and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and Acting Assistant Secretary of HHS, Dr. Dorothy Fink. So thank you all. Thank you, Dorothy, very much. The meteoric rise in autism is among the most alarming public health developments in history. There's never been anything like this. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I accidentally hit play on a Silk Song clip on Twitter, forgetting that Twitter would make the audio happen.
Not a long time. And I've always heard, you know, they say a few, but I think it's a lot less time than that. It used to be 1 in 20,000. Then 1 in 10,000, and I would say that's probably 18 years ago. And now it's 1 in 31, but in some areas it's much worse than that, if you can believe it, 1 in 31. And I gave numbers yesterday. For boys, it's 1 in 12. I was told that's in California where they have a...
I don't think that's true. 1 in 12? Maybe, the way you people act.
For some reason, a more severe problem. But whether it's 1 in 12 or 1 in 31, can you imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And now we're at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys. 1 in 31 overall. So since
I've
2000,
said this before, by the way, and I'll say it again. Autism, like most other mental conditions that we identify and diagnose via subjective criteria, is influenced by external factors, social behaviors. I think that in the world we live in today, where it is easier and easier to be isolated or to attach yourself to stuff on your like phone or computer screen, it's easier and easier to kind of like remove yourself from social situations and to, for lack of a better term, become autistic. I think that autism can be, to use a really inelegant like set of terms, learned and unlearned. Not to say it can always be learned or unlearned, much in the same way that, say, being a fan of a particular kind of food is like a learned behavior in the sense that there are things you can do to like foster an enjoyment for something, or do the opposite. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have full control over it. I think that it is bad that more and more people are becoming socially incompetent. I do not think that it's bad to be autistic. Whether or not you are autistic is to me irrelevant. What matters to me, I guess, is like facilitating overall good social health. Can I unlearn my autistic behaviors? I think that there are some behaviors that you can change about yourself and some you probably can't. It's up to the individual. For example, there's a wide host of behaviors considered autistic, like, say, for example, sensory sensitivity, hyperfixations, a wide variety of things, some kinds of like difficulties in reading social cues. And all of these things, at the end of the day, at least to some extent or another, are skills. They're attributes that can be affected by your behavior and what you try to expose yourself to. Like, if you tend to have a sensitivity to sounds, for example, there are probably experiences you can have that make you a little bit more resilient to them, but that's no guarantee you'll ever not be sensitive to them. That's just how it is. That's how the mask is. All my classes. Exactly.
autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them, this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000...
Source, I made it up. No, we've gone over a bunch of literature on stream before, because people usually get really defensive when this comes up. It's why I'm talking so quickly, to try to preempt people getting mad at me in chat. Before I was made to talk to hundreds of people a day under hostile circumstances on a Mormon mission, I was way more socially inept. Yeah, the ability to read social cues is a skill. Many things are skills, or can be developed. Personalities shift. Your character changes. You're moldable, right? You are not just like an inept weakling left cowering in the face of your unchanging personality. The reason I think it's important to bring this up is just because if you don't believe there's any socially attributable cause to this, you have to accept the right-wing position that we are experiencing a rapidly increasing epidemic in people having autism. And I think that's a really dangerous thing to believe, because then you either need to accept, like, are our diagnostic criteria really getting that much more sensitive? No, not enough to account for this rise. Or you have to say, like, okay, well then there must be some kind of influence or poison, if you prefer, that's making us like this. I reject these assertions. I think that the world has gotten, very different in the past 100 years. Different behaviors are being rewarded and prioritized, and our personalities are changing on average because of it.
1,000 to 10,000, and then you go to 12. There's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism.
Uh-huh. That's a great thing for the president to say, man.
That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently... Is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah. Virtually...
The Amish are so disease-ridden, they have wards, special wards in their special hospitals dedicated to a wide variety of unique and often genetic debilitations that they suffer from. They also don't test for autism. But I'd be willing to bet that, yes, on average, Amish people are probably less autistic because they don't have the dang phone screens or whatever.
I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain groups, the Amish as an example.
This is so fucking dangerous, dude. I feel like our population has peaked, man.
They have essentially no autism. First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that, acetaminophen.
Really, man? You've never picked up that one? One of the two, like, most well-known pain-killing chemicals? Okay.
Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol.
No, that's one
during pregnancy
brand name.
Can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
Dude, Tylenol, the company should sue the Trump administration directly using the brand name rather than the generic, rather than the generic chemical term is insane. That's like actually insane.
Necessary. That's
This is easy defamation. This is based on like an incredibly tentative lawsuit. This is 100% absolutely unquestionably defamation.
For instance, in cases
leading
of
to real material
high
harm.
fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally, you don't take it at all. But if you have to, if you can't tough it out, if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it. The other thing that I can tell you that I'll say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date, but I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times.
He's not even coherently delivering this information, man. It's insane that he's the one delivering this when he can't speak. I guess RFK Jr. also can't speak. Why isn't Dr. Oz giving this information?
Times, but you take it in smaller doses and you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace.
Of course, he would think they're beautiful.
I don't see it. I think it's very bad. They're pumping, it looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little child, little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they pump it in. So ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines,
it really is like end of civilization shit, you know? It feels like we should have overcome this, but this is like language that basically approximates a 16th century peasant talking about the way to dispel the Black Death is to keep garlic cloves in your mask or whatever. Like we're so fucked. Jesus Christ.
Be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff. You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And it's artificially induced. It's not like something that when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the problems. To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel, the mumps, measles, And
Nuremberg trials, man. Yeah, for real. It's going to kill more people than any war.
The three should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem. So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it four for a while, it really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So there's no downside in doing it. It's not like, oh, if
he's just fallen for the Wakefield shit. Yeah, but he's not intelligent enough to even repeat what the points are. So the point, the Andrew Wakefield doctrine or dogma that was originally meant to be this like well-reasoned scientific criticism of MMR vaccines has now dripped down into what it always was, which is just retard slop for paranoid conspiracy theorists. That's who it was always for. It was always for that demographic.
You do it bad things. No, it's only good side, and it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact. So let those be taken separately. And then hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born.
Oh my fucking God. Oh my God, dude. Jesus Christ. All I can do, and I'm crossing my fingers, all I can do is hope that the death way, like the excess death numbers mostly hit red states. That's all I can hope for. Oh my God.
Hepatitis B. So I would say wait till the baby is 12 years old and formed and take hepatitis B. And I think if you do those things, it's going to be a whole different, it's going to be a revolution in a positive sense in the country. The FDA will be updating the label of an existing drug to reflect potential benefits in reducing some autism symptoms. This gives hope to the many parents with autistic children that it may be possible to improve their lives. That's one of the things that I'm very, very happy about. I mean, this was mostly going to be on how not to have the child affected, but we've learned some pretty good things about...
Did Trump get bribed by Andrew Wakefield? Andrew Wakefield was just a grifter. He didn't believe in what he was saying. He just wanted to make money off of being a controversial media figure. In that respect, they're all the same person. Western civilization, and I mean that in the most grandiose terms possible, has been getting preyed on by these people relentlessly for the past 30 years. Longer than 30 years, but especially the past 30 years. In the absence of a Cold War enemy, the Soviet Union, operating as some kind of unifying cause, even an oppositional one, we are being shredded to pieces by grifters. And again, I'm not saying this didn't happen during the Cold War as well. It certainly did. But I really do feel like the per pound like grifter ratio of society has gone way the fuck up recently. Certainly now.
Certain elements of genius that can be given to a baby, and the baby can get better. And in some cases, maybe substantially better. Not going to be easy, but be a lot easier if it didn't happen in the first place, as these great parents fully understand, right?
Study showed a 20% hepatitis B rate among children prior to vaccine versus 1% after. The common vector is mother to child. Yeah, because the kid breastfeeds. Yeah.
You fully understand. I feel so terribly for... I have so many friends with autistic children. It's a tough situation. Finally, to help reach the ultimate goal.
Always, of course, the dehumanization of the disabled person. It's never, I know autistic people, which you certainly do. You're surrounded by at least one, right? Yeah, Trump's got a little special interesty himself, but leaving that aside, Eric, yeah, maybe. We'll see how Barron turns out. But it's always like, I'm sorry to my non-autistic friends who are being afflicted and burdened by the presence of their autistic children. That's always how it goes.
Of ending the autism fever, the NIH will be announcing 13 major grant awards from the Autism Data Science Initiatives. And to be honest with you, to me, that's the least important. It's not even a money thing at this point. There's so much money, but they have to do, and they have to move quickly. When the alternative is that nothing bad can happen, let's do it now. I was just saying to Bobby and the group, let's do it now. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it. And if you can't live, if your fever is so bad, you have to take one because there's no alternative to that. Sadly, first question, what can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative to that.
Okay.
And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, they've been proven bad with the aspirins and the Advils and others, right? And they've been proven bad. So I'd like to ask Bobby to get up to the podium and say a few words, and then Dr. Bhattacharya and Dr. McCary, Dr. Oz, Dr. Fink, followed by two incredible mothers that have experienced firsthand what this country is going through, what parts of the world are going through. And I will say there are parts of the world that don't take Tylenol. I mean, there's a rumor, and I don't know if it's so or not, that Cuba, they don't have Tylenol because they don't have the money for Tylenol, and they have virtually no autism, okay? Tell me about that one. And there are other parts of the world where they don't have Tylenol, where they don't have autism.
Thanks.
That tells you a lot. And I want to say it right now.
It is kind of crazy that of all of the directions they could have chosen to go with this, like the poison within our society that's causing autism is X, they chose one of the most ubiquitous drugs on the planet. Like, it is pretty insane that's the direction they went with. They didn't like choose a sacrificial scapegoat. They didn't go after something nebulous like 5G waves or whatever. They just named a company.
And, you know, the way I look at it, don't take it. Don't take it. There's no downside in not taking it. So
You think this is just a ploy for market manipulation? I'm sure there are going to be people who cynically profit from this in that way, but no. This kind of like insane medical conspiracism, the alienation or dehumanization of the sickened people, this is very common stuff to fascists. It's not like they're just like this.
I'd like to ask Bobby to come up and say a few words. I hope I didn't ruin his day, but that's the way I feel. I've been very strong on the subject for a long time. You know, life is common sense too. And there's a lot of common sense in this, and I wish things like this were brought up, and this group has worked so hard on it, but I'd like to be a little bit more, a little speedier in the process of a recommendation, because there's no harm in going quicker. There's absolutely no harm. At worst, there's no harm. Thank you very much. Bobby, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. To meet the President's challenge, I ordered HHS to launch an unprecedented all-agency effort to identify all causes of autism, including toxic and pharmaceutical exposures. At President Trump's urging, NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS are turning over every stone to identify the etiology of the autism epidemic and how patients and parents can prevent and reverse this alarming trend. We have broken down the traditional silos that have long separated these agencies, and we have fast-tracked research and guidance. Historically, NIH has focused almost solely on politically safe and entirely fruitless research about the genetic drivers of autism.
We live in such a fucking clown country, dude. I can't believe of all the people that could have chosen to run the NHS, they chose the least healthy looking and sounding human being alive. Like, it's a joke. I just can't believe I'm being subjected to it, you know? Like, we all know he looks and sounds awful.
That would be like studying the genetic drivers of lung cancer without looking at cigarettes. And that's what NIH has been doing for 20 years. As a result, we don't have an answer to this critical question, despite the cataclysmic impact of the epidemic on our nation's children. We are now replacing the institutional culture of politicized science and corruption with evidence-based medicine. NIH research teams are currently testing multiple hypotheses with no area off limits. We promise transparency as we uncover the potential causes and treatments public regularly of our process. Today, we are announcing two important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents to know as they make these decisions.
Okay, I'm gonna take an executive decision here. I'm straight up skipping him. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I don't want to listen to this for any length of time. I don't care.
Launched the Autism Data Science Initiative.
Oh, this is the, what's his name again? This is that freak who wants to like ban all vaccines, right? This is that guy who's been working with RFK Jr. for a while. What's his name? Jay Bhattacharya, yeah.
Turbocharge autism research, devoting an additional $50 million to the cause of studying autism. Nearly 250 research teams from across the country applied, sent in their applications, and were peer-reviewed by the NIH review panels. The NIH review peer reviewers chose the 13 best projects focused on root causes and therapies, with replication and validation studies to guarantee gold standard science. The studies feature a new kind of science called exposomics, where scientists consider environmental and medical factors, nutrition, events during pregnancy, in combination with biology and genetics to answer vital questions about autism. Science like this, conducted in partnership with families and physicians, is the best way to arrest and reverse the autism epidemic. Autism spectrum disorder encompasses a very wide range of symptoms, ranging from mild difficulties with social interactions to profoundly autistic children who experience severe disabilities in speech and behavior. Given this wide range of symptoms across the spectrum, it seems certain that there will be a wide range of biological contributors to explaining the cause. The great thing about the new NIH initiative on autism is that scientists will use rigorous advanced...
This is boring. Okay, we learned what we need to learn. Just straight up anti-vax, not even like conditionally anti-vax or cautious anti-vax, but just full-on anti-vax stuff from the president, and also direct, flagrantly like liable slander against the company that produces Tylenol. It's insane. What's their intention behind all this? To root out the sickness. It's literally like this is the main thing fascists care about. Identify the sickness, root out the sickness. It's all like that's the whole thing all the time. That's the main thing they do. You all understand now why I've been so insistent on like the social root of neurodevelopmental conditions, right? Like it is a perfect antidote to this kind of bigotry. And to this kind of insanity. When you understand that, along with most human behavior, as like a complex tapestry of environmental and biological factors, it's really difficult. You basically become like immunized against these arguments. Yeah, all the fucking mothers are going to take, expected mothers are going to take opioids now. Inky Elk, we've done whole streams on it before. Whole streams on it before. They added new FAQ, and now when you open it, it asks about new media coverage at Tylenol.com. What? Oh, wait. Wait, was that it? I think I closed it reflexively, but I think the pop-up said, do you have questions about... You dumbass? Yeah, fuck you. Yes? 1 second. New incog window. Yep. Have questions about recent media coverage of Tylenol. Click here. Here's what we can tell you. Credible independent scientific data continues to show no proven link between taking acetaminophen and autism. Medical and public health organizations agree, including... Yeah. Okay, it's just showing this, but it had a pop-up for it. Show us? I'm showing you. It's right here. Yeah, stock down like 7%. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. It's pretty insane. It's pretty like civilization ending, to be honest with you. To have stuff like this spread through the presidency, through the Oval Office. Absolutely insane. Only the United States? Unfortunately, the right wing in other countries follows. Yeah. It does, everyone gets pulled along, unfortunately.